everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to Be the Brightness. I am your hostess and giver of light, Amanda. Happy Monday. New week. First full week in May. This is really important session, episode, talk, whatever we want to call it. So I'm going to try to keep it reasonable in length, but this may be a few extra minutes longer than normal. So I hope everybody's doing well. A big update. This is really super important, and I am being very transparent because this is the exact sort of thing that the purpose of Be the Brightness is. Okay, like when really bad things happen, how do you traverse it, navigate through it, grow through it in a very healthy, positive way? And how do you use bad times in life, hard times in life to really push forth growth in curating your positive mindset, right? Because it's really, really easy to get sucked down in the negative during times like these. So I've had many, many things happen in my life. And fortunately, however we want to look at this, it's bad, but we can use it to be good, right? I have something happening now that I'm going to share, and I'm going to do a separate series, I think, kind of spitballing ideas and thinking as I'm live here. But I think I'm going to spin up a separate series to document this whole thing that I'm going through. So if you saw if you were here with me last week, I alluded to a thing going on, and I wasn't sure if I could talk about it. Well, it's public knowledge now, so I can talk about it. I'm still going to talk about it in generalities to kind of protect identity, because this is public to the whole world. So let's just dive right into it, shall we? The only other thing I'll say, because this is public to the world, like, if you have something that's not nice to say, just don't say it. I really don't have a problem with that here. But, just, if you don't have anything nice to say, just keep scrolling, move along. Because we really need, like, positivity and encouragement right now. So, let's start with a little bit of history, and then we'll talk about the current situation. So, I've talked about my mother a bit. She's a big reason of how I have built my life to crawl out of poverty and, be in the middle class. I'm the first homeowner in my family. I'm the first college educated in my family. My mother was a malignant narcissist, put a lot of barriers, like, intentionally in the way, and I wasn't going to have it. I was not going to continue living my life the way she lived her life, and I ended a lot of cycles of trauma and all that stuff it ended with me, right? So I have twins. I think folks know. I have a bunch of kids, but my twins are my oldest. They're 9.5, and I may have shared this before, but I'm going to share it again because it's pivotal to what's going on. I had my twins, C-section, because Robert was down and Nicholas was up, and that was the safest thing, was planned C-section, so we did that. Everybody was good. A few days in the hospital, we all went home, no NICU, no nothing. Like, I carried them 39 weeks or 38.5 weeks. They were 6 pounds each, very, very healthy for our twins, like, unheard of, right? That they stayed in that long and they were good to go. We all went home together. 1 week after they were born, I was still in rough shape from the C-section. I was still in a lot of pain. I couldn't really, stand up all the way fully straight, and was still in a lot of discomfort and getting used to life with twins. And it was a lot going on. But 1 week after they were born, I had to leave my twins with an army of family and friends. I think we had about 4 or 5 folks that stepped up to help us out. because myself and my sister and my father had to go to Mass General Hospital and be there because my mother was having emergency brain surgery to remove a walnut-sized tumor. So Mass General is a huge hospital, if you're not familiar. And I am trying to navigate from the parking to where she is in the hospital to, like, where we go. And of course, it was, like, a very long walk. And I was in a lot of pain, even though I had medicine. I can't tolerate, like, a lot of prescription pain medication. It makes me very sick. So I was roughing it out on Tylenol and ibuprofen. And I was feeling it. Like, I was sore. And every chance I got, every time I saw staff, I was like, do you have a wheelchair? I just had a baby. I just had twins. Like, do you have a wheelchair? And in the middle of Mass General, nobody could provide me a wheelchair. But whatever. Soldiered through. Found my mother just as they were about to take her to surgery. We almost didn't even see her. And we said goodbye. Like, we said our goodbyes because she had other health issues and she was in rough shape, extremely overweight. Like, we did not think she was going to make it through. So we said our goodbyes. And she went through surgery. We went to the family waiting room, and hour after hour after hour is going by, and I'm just like, this is crazy. I'm uncomfortable. I'm worried about, my babies. I miss my babies. I want to be with my babies. I'm not in this hospital. And, we took some walks around, like, because even though it was uncomfortable, it was good for me to be up and moving. Went and got some lunch, and I noticed a trend that we were there all day. It was like a 10-hour surgery or something. And I had noticed while we were observing the people in the waiting room that some doctors would go to some families and there was smiles and thank yous and everything was going to be okay and good. It looked like they were getting good news. And then there was other families that were told they had to go into a room and pick up a phone. And those people came out with not a smile. So I figured, all right, that's the bad news room. So some more time goes by, and somebody comes over to me, not in a white doctor's coat. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. So they go, all right, yeah, you have to go pick up the phone in that room, and the doctor's going to be on the other line. I was like, okay. So I look at my sister and my dad, and I'm like, we all going to go? Am I just going? So I was voted the one to go. And went and picks up the phone, and in a very curt, like, matter-of-fact, no emotion tone, a gentleman who I believe was a doctor on the other end said hello, and I said hello, this is Amanda, Lorraine's eldest daughter, and they said, oh, okay, so she made it through surgery, and I was like, oh, okay. And she has stage 4 metastatic colon cancer, and she has approximately 12 to 18 months to live. Goodbye. 1 week after having twins, I get that news. So I go back out, and I had a very, challenging relationship with my mother. That I mean, this would be catastrophically devastating to normal mothers and daughters, but our relationship was nowhere near normal, so it was just, okay, we have to do this now. So I went back, told my dad and my sister, and in the next 18 months, I'm watching my twins grow, and literally, in the living room, and then on the other side of the living room wall, my mother's dying. We did hospice in our apartment until the very, very end, where the last, I think, 4 days she went to the hospice house because it got too much for me and my sister to manage. So 8 years ago, the end of March, was the 8-year anniversary of her passing. So 8 years, I've been narcissist-free. I've been able to heal and grow and get out of all of that nonsense. It's very pervasive, the abuse that it takes a toll on you from a narcissist, especially if it's a parent. So yeah, 8 years, it's a long time, but I still find little things here and there that I'm like, oh, oh, like, I need to work on that. Like, so May 1st, normally I try to be here on the 1st of every month because it's a new month and it's that feel-good feeling that you guys know. I talk about this all the time. But May 1st, I was with my sister. I have one younger sister. She's 4 years younger than me. And I was with my sister meeting a surgeon because on May 1st, she was officially diagnosed with colon cancer. Now, they caught it very early, but this is not good. This, is not good because it's just not good. It's never good. It's never good to have cancer. This is particularly scary for me because of the history with my mother. Now, my mother never took care of her health, and she had ignored signs and symptoms for years before what happened ultimately that led to her diagnosis was the brain tumor grew to a point that fucked her up. Like, one day she couldn't write, and she was, like, saying wrong words and shit, and we were like, are you having a fucking stroke? Like, what is going on? And we forced her to go to the hospital. She was actually in the hospital in the emergency room when I was being discharged with the twins. She didn't even see her grandsons before she went in for surgery, because it was just insane, complete insanity. So it was already, in her colon extensively. It had gone up to her lungs and in her brain, and that's why it was stage 4 and it was a death sentence, because colon cancer, it's not pancreatic cancer, but it's aggressive, and left untreated, like, it's going to consume you. And she had a lot of chemo and radiation, and it still spread. Once it spread to her liver, that was it. And we stopped treatment and just gave her comfort care until the end. So it's scary, right? Because my sister's younger than me, and we're not even supposed to start colonoscopies till we're 40. I'm 37, she's 33. And for her to already have it, and it's a sizable mass. It's not an obstruction, which is really good. It doesn't look like it's spread, which is really, really good. So she is having surgery in a couple of weeks, and provided there's no complications and they don't find anything else concerning, she's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. She's not going to need chemo and all that stuff. So, what does that mean? Why am I even telling you all of this? Well, it means I have to support her through all of this. It's a scary thing for us to go through, because we watched colon cancer completely destroy our mother. Regardless of the relationship we had with her, we saw what it did to her body, and neither one of us want to experience that. And we both have children, right? I have my 4 sons, and she's a mom too. She has 1 child. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's, this is the last week of my maternity leave. I'll go back to work next week. I mentioned that last week. I just am taking the reins over for the parent-teacher organization here, and it's insane with all the end of the year stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a big, scary monster, on top of, an already pretty busy, hectic life. And I have to get checked. When we were at the doctor's, last week, the GI doc that did the test, so she had a full scope, which is what found it. And I have to go for the same test now, because my mother having it with a family history, plus now my younger sister, even though I have no signs or symptoms, I need to go and get everything checked. It's a full, I forget the super medical term, but it's a full endoscopy. They do down your throat and the other end too. So yeah, I want to think, nothing's wrong with me, right? Like, I just had a perfectly healthy pregnancy and gave birth to a beautifully perfect, wonderful baby boy, and I feel great. But there's that, in the back of your mind, it's like, how can this be happening? How can this be happening? So, all of that said, this is the shit that happens in life, right? And it's unexpected, and it turns everything upside down. And yes, we got the best bad news possible last week, but it's still fucking bad news, okay? And it's still a very serious thing I have to support my sister through, and I have to get myself checked out, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's scary. And it doesn't have to be a terminal stage 4 diagnosis to be a big, hard, scary thing, right? Like, we don't want it to ever get there, right? But that doesn't negate what's going on now, right? So I'm going to use this life experience that now I'm going through for a couple of different purposes, right? I can look back. Granted, my mother's health condition was significantly worse, and required a lot more care and things like that. But I didn't ask for help back then, and I really, really should have. And, I had 2 babies then. I have 4 kids now. I've doubled up in the amount of kids I have. I've grown my job, my career significantly in the last 8 years. I have a lot more responsibility. I'm not going to be afraid to ask for help, so I'm going to recognize things that I can do differently to get through this in a very healthy, positive way, right? And I'm going to make a funny shadow. Anyway, I'm going to use this, like I said, I think I'm going to spin up a separate series to give you guys updates on what's going on, to show you firsthand on how you navigate hard shit, and how you maintain your positive mindset. It is okay to recognize that life sucks and still have a positive mindset. You can, that can work in parallel. So that's what's going on. And if you have any encouragement, any positivity, if you are of the faith and you pray, send good juju, we will take whatever. So please, just keep the positivity coming, because myself and my family could certainly use it. So, again, I'm going to turn a really hard thing into a good thing, and I'm going to use it to help everybody here, because diagnoses like this happen all the time. So if I can share the tips and tricks that we are executing to get through this, to help other people, I will be happy to do that. Alright, so that's the scoop. That's what's going on, and you can look forward to updates. I'll probably title those videos separately, so you know what it's all about, and you can tune in. But yeah, if you can support in any way, we'll take it. Alright, so yeah, alright, I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful day.